Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Kopp. Welcome to another edition of Cherry and White Classics. Tonight we are turning the clock back to 1994, a classic Atlantic 10 matchup as the Temple Owls hit the road to take on St. Bonaventure. And to do something special tonight, we are welcoming back the head coach of the Temple Owls and a senior on this 1993-94 team, Aaron Mckie. Aaron, thanks for taking some time to talk with us and relive one of these classic games.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Absolutely. So before we get to the game itself, we have to talk about kind of why this game has a little bit of an asterisk by it in history, because the game itself, while it's a great Temple win, is nothing particularly special, but the context is interesting, and that is this was a game coached by Jim Maloney instead of John Chaney, as Coach Chaney was suspended for one game. His famous post-press conference rant against John Calipari in UMass. He had issued an apology earlier in the week. This was 3 days after that all took place, and he was serving a one-game suspension as you guys took on St. Bonaventure. So I have to go back to that moment because it's one of those things that everyone has seen the clip. You know, it'll live forever in history or in infamy. But what do you remember as a player on that team about that game, the UMass game, and about that moment? Did you guys have any sense of what was going on at that time?
No, it was after the game, and we had just lost the game. And actually, Coach made us stand out on the floor and watch those guys. They were out there celebrating after they had beat us. And so we went in the locker room, and, he briefed us right after the game, and, we showered up and we were getting dressed. And, at that time, you didn't really travel right after your game. You went to the hotel and you were, getting ready to get an early flight in the morning. So we're sitting in the locker room, and Coach Maloney is sitting in there with us. And John DeSangro, who was our manager at that time, pretty much like your director of operations, he came running in the locker room. He whispered in Coach Maloney's ear, and Coach Maloney jumped up and shot out the locker room. And he typically don't move that fast. Coach Maloney is just, he had one pace, and he was just always cool and calm and collected. And he jumped up and he shot out the locker room. Just so with instincts, we all jumped up and ran out behind him. Myself, Eddie, and Rick, and we jumped out and ran behind him. And ironically enough, we get in the room where they were holding the press conference at, and that's where Coach was running his big mouth and got himself in trouble.
So let's set the table for tonight's game then, and let's talk about Coach Maloney. Obviously, well-known, longtime assistant, but stepping into that role, even if only for one game, in place of John Chaney. What was that like? What was your relationship like with Coach Maloney?
I had a great relationship. We all had a great relationship with Coach Maloney. He was very in tune with the game of basketball, just was always in our ears, giving us tips. And, he was our position coach as guard, so he was always in our ear, giving us tips. So for him to slide one seat over, it was almost, a natural thing for him. And really, when you have leadership out on the court, with myself, Eddie Jones, Rick Brunson, and the other guys that we had, it made it that much easier for him. Now, not saying easier in the sense where the game was easy, because it was always a tough game when we went out to play St. Bonaventure, because their team was, they were pretty good. They had some guys that had an opportunity to play in the NBA. They had some guys that go overseas and play. So they were equally comparable to what we put out on the floor.
Yeah, so as we set the table for this game, it's interesting because the Bonnies' record in this one is not great, but they had already beaten two top 25 teams at home this year. They had knocked off George Washington and West Virginia, who were both ranked. Obviously, St. Bonaventure and Temple. I'm wondering if you can give some context to what this game meant, because for those of us now, as Temple's obviously been out of the Atlantic 10 for a number of years, can you give a sense of in your time, what that rivalry was and how much, especially playing on the road there, it meant to you guys?
It was just it's always been like being a city kid is always a weird place to go and play. It was just dark. It was always cold. It was always raining there. And it was always tough games that we had when we went to play St. Bonaventures. Now, when you say the name, it doesn't really strike you as a powerhouse, but those guys were, they were pretty good. As you said, they beat a West Virginia who was in the Atlantic 10 at that time. They beat a George Washington, a team who was pretty good at that time. And, the Atlantic 10 then was rolling. We was getting 4 or 5 teams in the NCAA tournament. And so, we wanted to continue to try to keep a stronghold on the Atlantic 10, and every game was important. Every game was a dogfight for us, and it was no different for us when we went to go play those guys up in Orleans, and they was coming after us because when, Temple came to town, the crowd was fierce, and the crowd was getting after us, and it was fun for us really to go on the road. And Coach always taught us, the best thing you can do as a competitor when you go on the road is silence the crowd. And that's what we always look forward to doing.
Yeah, I want to share this quote from Coach Chaney. I've got it written down here to get it right because I think this is really interesting, again, for folks that to kind of set the table for tonight. I don't care about all the big arenas we played in the early part of the year. They haven't seen anything like St. Bonaventure. This is a haven for 40 minutes of hell. So always, well said by Coach Chaney.
Yep.
So let's take a look at the first half of this game. It's Temple on the road at St. Bonaventure. We'll chat more with Coach McKee at halftime.
The Temple Owls are one of the nation's top teams this year. Number 13 ranked Owls have plenty of weapons, including senior Aaron Mckie, who is one of the best players in the nation. St. Bonaventure has a 2-1 record against top 25 teams at home this year. The Bonnies will be led by Atlantic 10 Player of the Week, Harry Moore. The Bonnies will try to make it 3 out of 4 against top 25 teams next. Sports Network present NCAA basketball. Live from the Riley Center in Olean, New York, it's Temple versus St. Bonaventure. Hi, everyone. I'm Don McClain, along with Pete Weber and Jim Sadler. Tonight, the Bonnies take on a Temple team that is 17-4 on the year. They lost, of course, to the UMass on Sunday by 1 point, 56-55. They have a great player in Aaron Mckie, but no head coach tonight, Pete.
Right. They don't have a head coach tonight. Jim Maloney takes over, the former Niagara player and coach. And here's the situation. We say hello to Coach John Chaney, watching at home in Philadelphia tonight. Suspended 1 game by Temple University for threatening to kill John Calipari, the UMass coach, and to have his players try and mug the UMass players when they meet again next week. Coach, you're very fortunate it's only 1 game. And you're also very fortunate to have had Aaron Mckie for 4 years. Here's a guy who very well could be a number 1 draft choice in the NBA this year.
Well, he certainly could, Pete. And, of course, the Bonnies have had their problems here. The Bonnies this year 9-11. Their last one, a tough loss to Duquesne on Saturday. And Jimmy Sadlin, they got a kid by the name of Harry Moore who can put the ball through the hoop, but they need help from other guys, too.
Well, they certainly do. Harry Moore is a terrific player. He's been cataloged many times before on these networks. But I think there's some things, Don, that St. Bonaventure must and must not do in order to stay in tonight's game. Number 1, they must take the ball inside to try to challenge Temple's matchup zone. Any good team that has competed against Temple in the past and been successful in doing that have gone inside first, then gone outside. Second thing is they can't get this into a perimeter 3-point shooting type game for 2 reasons. 1, Temple is the number 1 3-point shooting team in the Atlantic 10. Number 2, St. Bonaventure is the worst 3-point shooting team in the Atlantic 10. So Bonnies are going to have to keep it inside, forget taking the outside shots today.
Okay, Jim, and of course, the Bonnies have not been very good with Temple. Temple leads this series 27-1. The last meeting, the Owls won it 73-52 in Philadelphia. We'll be back with the start of tonight's ball game and the lineups in just a moment on the Empire Sports Network. From the Riley Center, we've just had the singing of the National Anthem. Some creative signs have been displayed by the students around the Riley Center here tonight, basically going around the theme of thou shalt not kill. Even upside down, you can figure out what the sentiments might be.
I mean, he only said he was going to kill him. It wasn't like he said he was going to maim him and go after his kids or anything. You know, give him a break, John Chaney.
I thought it was just a game.
Give him it is just a game. No, I feel bad for John Chaney. He's a friend and he's a wonderful basketball coach, and just got caught up in the moment, and it's unfortunate. He shouldn't have done that, and I'm sure he knows it now, but it's over with, and we can get to playing some basketball.
it's certainly out of character with what he has done over the course of his career. Coach Jim Barron looking on as the starting lineups being announced for the Temple Owls. Aaron McKie coming out first of all. We talked about him on the pregame show. William Cunningham, who began his career as a starter last year for Temple, coming out to play one of the post positions. And the Owls, keep in mind now, have lost not only UMass, but 2 of their last 3. And now the introduction of the starting lineup for the Bonnies. Shandu McNeil, who has done the job so well running the offense this season after the first part of the season getting established as the freshman, has done an outstanding job, and that has allowed Dave Vanderpool to go over to a number 2 position.
Shandu's got a tough one tonight, though, to try and work against the matchup zone and the size of Temple's guards, plus their big people, of course.
Jeff Quackenbush will play in the middle. Garland Mance at one forward. And working at the other forward, Harry Moore and Aaron McKie went to the same high school, Gratz High School in Philadelphia. They won't be going against one another here tonight very frequently, but still a little bit of the rivalry there. There's Jim Barron, coach of St. Bonaventure. Jim Maloney running things for the Temple Owls tonight. Back with the opening tip in just a moment on the Empire Sports Network. Officiating tonight's Temple St. Bonaventure game here at the Riley Center. John Cahill in from Albany, Rich Sanfilippo in from Milburn, New Jersey, and Ted Valentine from Orient, Ohio. Those the starting lineups for you as you set your scorebooks along with us. And let's see how things work out here tonight as Harry Moore steps in against William Cunningham for the opening tip. And Shandu McNeil chases it down to the backcourt for St. Bonaventure. And McNeil already has gone against Temple this season. He's outside to Mance. Moore back to Mance, swung to McNeil, looking for Vanderpool. Kicked out of bounds by Eddie Jones.
Well, this is going to be St. Bonaventure's chore all night long to try to attack the matchup zone that John Chaney and his Temple Hours are so famous for.
And to be both patient and quick to do so. Three-point try from the outside doesn't go, and Cunningham knocks it back out of bounds to the Bonnies.
You know, we talked on top that as we see Jim Maloney coming back to the Riley Center, but they're not going to beat this zone by throwing three-pointers up. They really have to show some patience, try to get the ball inside. Certainly they're going to have to make some jumpers, but they really have to make a concerted effort to get it down low.
There's Mance, who took that three-point shot earlier. Now Harry Moore tries the tray. No, and the rebound for Vanderpool.
Surprisingly, Temple is not a great rebounding team, probably middle of the conference. Bonnies are rebounding the ball very well this year, considering they don't have great size.
Way outside Quackenbush. And to think about some other things, too, John Chaney's club has essentially only played 7 guys heavily. So maybe by working inside, that could eventually, if they're successful, work in St. Bonaventure's favor. Another tray. Another time it doesn't go.
And 3 offensive rebounds.
Now a 2-point try, and Cunningham the rebound for Temple.
This is going to upset Jim Maloney and his Temple Owls very much if they're going to continue to give up 2 and 3 shots on the offensive board to St. Bonaventure.
Rick Brunson running the attack for the Owls. A junior out of Salem, Massachusetts, outside for McKee. Very explosive player, good overall player. Brunson dealt off. Cunningham walking before he launched the shot.
What we saw happen, though, Peter, is Rick Brunson immediately trying to take Shandu McNeil down low and post him up, try to go to the basket off him. Makes the dish off that time. Next time, he'll shoot the ball.
Shandu McNeil with Brunson backing off now into that matchup zone. Quackenbush way outside. Body's going to need some bodies inside to put it in there.
Well, you know that Temple's going to give up the outside shot based on Bonaventure's ranking in the league in last place in three-point shooting, but Bonnies just can't fall into the trap of trying to take all threes.
Well, they're trying another. Vanderpool. Battle for the rebound, kept alive by Mance. Puts it down and up and score it.
Very poor job by Temple early on as the Bonnies are ruling the offensive board. What happens too is you take some threes, long rebounds occur because of that. But that wasn't a long rebound.
No, it came down low, and a good job by Mance to tear it away. Well, Aaron Mckie. Now on the right side, Jones, no.
Mance and David Vanderpool have the envious or unenviable chore of playing against Eddie Jones, Aaron Mckie on the defensive end.
Yeah, I'd say unenviable. It's going to be a long night's work for them.
But it's a great challenge, though. Any competitor will look at this as a great challenge with the opportunity to make something happen.
Tipped away by Mckie. He comes down court with it. Outside Brunson. Mckie left corner. Decides to put it up against Vanderpool and scores it. He has the tray.
With David Vanderpool right in his face. We see the statistics hold true immediately. Temple, the best shooting three-point team in the league, comes down and knocks one down. On the other end, Bonnie's still got 0 for 4 from the three-point line.
And Mckie, the best in his team, at it at 37%. In the lane for Moore. No! And the rebound for Eddie Jones of Temple.
Real good look, though, for Harry Moore.
Jones tripped up by Vanderpool as he tried to drive the right of the lane.
Temple plays with no emotion whatsoever as we see Eddie Jones going to the basket. Vanderpool reaches and commits the foul, but Temple really plays, and this is a typical John Chaney team, that they don't show a great deal of emotion, whether up or down.
Trying to keep the even keel. Jones at the free throw line. And he hits the first, giving the Owls a 4-2 advantage.
Bonnies really have to hit some shots early to get this crowd into the game. I think the students would love to get into the game here early. Bonnies are going to have to make a couple shots for that to happen.
Bonnies trail by a deuce. 3:23 gone in the opening half.
Wide open shots. You know, he's going to have to look for that. That was a mistake, I think, on the Temple defense right there. Vanderpool had a wide open shot. He's going to have to look for that one.
Mance was taken 3 tray attempts already and knocked out of bounds by Aaron Mckie. It'll be Bonnie ball, and there's going to be a substitution coming in here. And it's going to be the big guy, Shelton. Sidney Shelton will come in and take over for Quackenbush.
Shelton played very well against Duquesne on Saturday with a career-high 10 points.
McNeil, well, he had to put it up, and he scores it.
Well, very good shot. That's going to be a tough situation for Shandu, I believe, all night long if he's going to have to try to go up and over Rick Brunson or Aaron Mckie.
Very tough at his 5'7" and maybe generously listed so to try and do that. Battie inside turns, a little long, and McNeil the rebound.
Nice box out by Garland Mance.
Excellent box out. Now McNeil, middle opened up for him, a hanger, and he's called for traveling.
That's where his size is going to hurt him, as we mentioned before.
Timeout taken, 4:13 gone, and this game tied at 4. St. Bonaventure controlled the ball most of the first 90 seconds. We'll return with more from the Riley Center in Olean in just a moment on the Empire Sports Network. With 15:47 to go in the first half. Creative sign bunch in that student group, is it not? The A-10 conference standings, and UMass taking its first loss last night going against St. Joe's, and a few people surprised there in Amherst.
Yes, but that might have been a residual effect also from the problem that occurred last Sunday. And St. Joe's is good at home. They play very strong. Worley had a terrific basketball game, so you know anything can happen when you lace them up and you go out and play.
Have you talked to Dale Brown yet today?
Oh, man, I wouldn't want to talk to Dale Brown today at all. What a great comeback, though, huh?
Incredible. 31 points down, and the pressure slowing Temple down anyway. Cunningham out in that left wing waiting for the rest of the offense to catch up.
You can't let this man shoot the three, though.
He does. Mckie hits his second tray.
If Bonnies are going to go into some kind of full court pressure, they certainly have to react and get back and cover the shooters, which is the Temple triumvirate of Brunson, Jones, and Mckie.
An outstanding group. Vanderpool. Now it's Moore in the corner. Back to Vanderpool as they get inside on Cunningham. Score it.
See, I think Bonaventure's going to have some success by taking it and using their athletic ability, trying to take it to the basket, as opposed to camping out behind the line and taking threes. They haven't made them all year long. There's no reason to think they're going to commit against this Temple team and make threes.
Vanderpool good going to the basket.
Yes, he is.
And the foul going on McKee. He hits it. I thought it was going to go on Cunningham, but they have McKee up. 7-all. On the right to McKee on that wing. Trying to play a little two-man game. Puts up the shot himself. Cunningham keeps the rebound alive. Can't control it. Jones does get it. Mckie turns in on Moore with the muscle. Can't score. Cunningham misses the tip. Boy, offensive rebounds aplenty, but finally knocked out of bounds by Temple.
Well, Jim Maloney's got to be happy to see that, at least, that Temple's shown some real action on the offensive board. First time they've gotten to the offensive board in the first 5 or 6 minutes.
Jason Ivey is going to report in for the Owls. Meantime, it's Mance outside. He thought Trey for a moment. McNeil. Vanderpool looking it over, and it's Harry Moore, his choice. Back out for Vanderpool. McNeil bluffs the three, moves inside, throws up a prayer. Shelton had it in his hands, but wasn't able to hold on.
Not a bad move by Shandu McNeil. Shelton right there for the rebound, couldn't quite get the handle on it, but you know, I like the fact that he's looking to penetrate against the bigger people.
Ivy in for Cunningham for Temple. Nelson Richards has come in for St. Bonaventure as he replaces Garland Mance.
Well, we talk about what Temple not being a great rebounding team. Where they can get away with it is the fact that they have so few turnovers per game. Under 10 a game, unheard of in college basketball.
Especially after the shot clock came in.
But they've always been like that. They've always taken care of the ball. Now they're running the ball a little bit more up and down the court, which is even more impressive.
Chance for St. Bonaventure to take a lead again. Harry Moore's tray. Oh, what a job that was to get his defender to go by him and then still have the balance to put up a three-point shot.
Well, Harry Moore is certainly one of the premier players in the Atlantic 10, and he showed why right there.
Brunson. Ivy inside. No. Moore the rebound. And McNeil down the right sideline.
Well, the longer that Bonaventure hangs in a game like this and gets the crowd in it, the tougher they're going to be when it comes down to the end.
Vanderpool from 16. Now the rebound taken down by Mckie.
Temple is really not in it defensively right now. Bonaventure's getting an awful lot of great looks at the basket. Wide open shots.
Quick pass here and there too, and they've gotten some very great shots just by moving the ball quickly. Obviously something they've worked on quite a bit heading into this game. Brunson on the right for Jones's three. No, and rebound position for Shelton and St. Bonaventure.
Jones has not been able to get off yet. Still looking for his first one.
Man's going to come back in for the Bonnies. Harry Moore. Cross court goes to Nelson Richards. Vanderpool, he'll put up the three. Won't score with it though. And Mckie clears the rebound once again. St. Bonaventure up 10-7. Brunson. He has Mckie. Nice pass on the side to Ivy, and Ivy does score after tumbling to the floor.
Beautiful pass on the penetration move. Ivy is able to take care of it at the end. Shelton makes a nice defensive play, tries to draw the charge. No call.
Shandu McNeil gets the return. Here's Nelson Richards with the tray. Off to the side, Brunson the rebound. And again, Coach, what you were talking about earlier, you can't overly rely on that three. Brunson, the long left-hander, no. And off the iron, out of bounds.
Brunson's first look at the basket. A quick one. Doesn't fall for him.
Timeout here with 11:55 to go in the half. Bonnie's up one. We'll return in just a moment on the Empire Sports Network. Well, St. Bonaventure with the lead by 1 on the scoreboard, and the rebounding column also as Jim Barron diagrams what he wants coming up next. Now stay tuned after this one for more college basketball. The Missouri Tigers take on the Iowa State Cyclones tonight at 10 here on the Empire Sports Network. Geez, Missouri headed to the Big Ten now next?
While we get a minute, I'd like to certainly send some best wishes to Dick Gelati, former longtime trainer for St. Bonaventure, who had a little problem and is resting comfortably in Rochester General Hospital. Get well soon, Dick, from everybody here at St. Bonaventure.
Absolutely no fun taking in these games from a hospital, I'll tell you, but happy to bring them to you. There you see the field goal percentages. Not exactly fiery hot either side.
No, you're
That's why I have all those rebound chances.
By saying that. And you know, Bonaventure's really had an awful lot of good looks. Temple has had a hand in the face most of the time, but Bonnie's really have had some open shots. But we mentioned before, they're not a great shooting team, so not going to happen for them if they continue to shoot the perimeter.
Quackenbush back in there along with Mance, the starting unit in there. Cross court as it goes, minus, of course, Vanderpool in the starting unit. Trying to drive the baseline, knocked out of bounds by Temple. Either Battie or Jones. Jim Barron wants to see executed what he just spent so much time diagramming.
Yep. He said, guys, I just spent that whole time out telling you what I wanted to do. Let's go out and do it.
Into Quackenbush, into that matchup zone in the teeth of it, in and out. Harry Moore, the offensive board, puts it down up, but is called for traveling.
Good effort on the board by Harry Moore. Every time they've made a little penetration move, they really have gotten some pretty good shots. I would think that they'd want to really look to do that a little bit more.
Yeah, spend more time on that, absolutely.
And there's no hurry. I think the shot clock is not going to come into effect, so they don't need to rush it.
Battie, the sophomore, turns inside on Quackenbush and score it. He gets his first two. It's 11-10 now. Temple with the lead.
Looking for the charge. John Cahill doesn't make the call.
Quackenbush swinging it. They swing it in one line on one single plane. Nelson Richards with the three. In and out. Moore thought he had position, but it came tapping out to Brunson. He starts it back up court.
And Nelson Richards had the, as we see Jones go to the basket with a big-time move.
Eddie Jones with 3 points now.
That's why the pro scouts are all drooling over both Aaron Mckie and Eddie Jones. But, you know, we saw Nelson Richards get a look at a three-pointer to win the Duquesne game on Saturday, and it didn't fly for him.
Quackenbush, the big guy with the long rebound off the three miss, comes down to Eddie Jones.
I got to think that this must be Bonaventure's strategy to look for the three, thinking that maybe they've got a better opportunity to knock him down, but hasn't worked so far.
And we're talking about history for the season as well. Jones, no, but Battie on the offensive follow.
And I'm sure that on the other side, Jim Maloney's saying, hey guys, let's take it inside. We've got the height advantage. Let's try to get it down low.
Bonaventure down 5 as Shandu McNeil hopes he can get something going. McNeil was thinking about Nelson Richards. Now goes that direction on the right. Richards had some room to drive, throws up a runner, and he does draw a foul.
Now, I'm not going to say this again. We're not going to belabor the point, but when you go to the basket, something's going to happen. Either it's going to be a charge, it's going to be a grab, it's going to be something. And there's the foul that Nelson Richards causes. So, you know, I just think that they really have to take their time a little bit more, St. Bonaventure. Look to get it inside. Don't be so content to just throw up the threes.
Ivy was the Temple player charged with the foul. Nelson Richards gets his first point of the night. And now the Bonnies will go without a true point guard as Shandu McNeil goes to the side with 9:39 in the half, and Vanderpool replaces him.
Well, when you're playing against the matchup, maybe you don't need the true point as much as you would in a normal situation. Bonnie's looking to put some pressure on from a full court standpoint.
And the height differential, of course, between Vanderpool and McNeil, something that maybe they can take advantage of. Temple up by 3.
Temple runs a very simplified man-to-man offense, stacking on either side. They pop one of their top players out, or they look inside for a post-up move.
Now Mckie, he
beautiful.
Mance flying by him, but the shot is short, and Vanderpool the rebound. Harry Moore gets it down court quickly. Cross court. Nelson Richards, the hesitation shot. No, and the rebound stolen away by Vanderpool. He reached over from behind and took it from Ivy.
Bonnies are doing a terrific job on the offensive board. Very aggressive, getting to every loose ball. Right now they've out-hustled Temple to most loose balls.
Moore's three-point try. That doesn't go. Brunson had a hand on it, and a foul called as he got it in.
Harry Moore is Bonaventure's best three-point shooter, shooting about 36%, but right now the strategy of getting to the threes really hasn't worked. They've only knocked one of them down.
Nelson Richards charged with the foul. You saw him going up and contending with Brunson.
Shandu McNeil with just a quick blow as he's back in the game. And makes the steal, and makes the pass.
Now it's 2-on-1. Across the lane, bad pass. And traveling the call as St. Bonaventure will get it back.
Garland Mance wasn't sure whether he wanted to try to take it to the basket himself or dish it off, and elected to pass. Nice steal by Shandu McNeil. He's so small that no one even saw him. He kind of snuck in there under McKee's armpit.
And now lobbed way out into the backcourt. Mance watched by Brunson. Now McNeil. Harry Moore pops his way free out there in three-point country again. Mance, as neat as Harry Moore had snuck in there, back out for McNeil. Vanderpool now inside Harry Moore. Good movement of the ball.
Cross-court pass back and forth. Eventually they find Harry Moore. Harry Moore is tough to handle inside. I think I'd like to keep him down there rather than roaming around on the perimeter.
Bono within one with 7:53 to go in the half. On the left, that's Aaron McKie, the All-American we were telling you about, Player of the Year in the Atlantic 10 last year. Brunson, well, he managed to get McNeil to commit himself, and McNeil gets the foul.
Post-up move for Richie Brunson as he's got about 7 or 8 inches probably on Shandu and McNeil. Tough matchup for Shandu. Here's the post-up as he backs in. Quackenbush thinks about going out to help, but it commits a little bit too late. At that point, Brunson had already made his move.
Brunson, outstanding all-around guard for Temple, hits the first free throw.
Almost transferred to Boston College. Decided to stay at Temple, and John Chaney and the guys are real happy that he made that decision.
Oh, yeah. Hits them both. Rick Brunson gets both free throws. Temple is 3 of 4 from the line and leads by 3 with 7:43 to go in the half. We'll return to the Riley Center in Olean, but first, please, this commercial timeout on the Empire Sports Network. The Owls by 3 as we move down to the final 7:43 of the first half. And a reminder, don't miss your chance to talk college basketball on Round Ball Wrap. Host Jim Saddleton and Bob Kaczynski take your calls Thursday nights at 7, only on Empire Sports Network. Don't miss it. Tomorrow night's guest, Niagara coach Jack Armstrong. Niagara taking on Canisius tonight at the Odd.
Big game and certainly a tough year for Jack Armstrong, but
there, take a look at the three-point field goal. St. Bonaventure just 1 of 10.
Yeah.
Just 10 attempts stands out at you anyway.
That's a lot after 12, 13 minutes of this game, and Temple's certainly given that up. But the Bonnies have done such a great job in close games this year, and it's close right now that they've had 9 games that have been decided by 6 points or less, and they're 5 and 4 in those games. So obviously, if they can keep the game within striking distance at the end, they might have a chance to steal one here against this powerful Temple team.
Shandu McNeil looking across. That's Garland Mance. Now McNeil has it back, given a little bit of room. Harry Moore in the lane, turns from 14, and the bounce goes for it. That's the home court bounce.
See, there's again, Harry Moore decides to flash in, catches it inside the foul line, is able to make a 15-footer.
Now Brunson wheels it across on the left sideline. McKee moves on Quackenbush. Quackenbush maybe caused him to alter his shot just enough.
Well, Temple can usually handle any kind of press or any kind of defense that's thrown at him. Bonnie's made him move a little bit quicker that time. Let's see if they continue trying to do that.
Quackenbush open right side, but short. Vanderpool, offensive board. No. Tap up doesn't go, but T has it for Temple.
Tell you what, though, if Bonnie's keeps getting those kind of opportunities on the offensive board, they will be here for the whole 40 minutes.
Exactly. Eddie Jones. Vanderpool sort of enveloping him, then Jones pulls back out. Now Brunson with Jones on the right with him. And Jones goes around baseline. Here's Mckie turning in the lane on Quackenbush. No, Quackenbush rebounds it.
Bonnie's doing a nice job on the defensive end, forcing Ivy, Mckie, some of those players to try to beat him.
This is Garland Mance. He's going to take another tray for the Bonnies. No, more the rebound, and dribbles it outside.
Now I know why they're taking the threes, because they can get the offensive rebounds then every time.
The runner doesn't go. Quackenbush gets the rebound of the miss by Mance, and then it's tipped away. Jones, Mckie with the tip, Jones with the shot, and Jones with the follow. No, and the rattle for the rebound. Jones not fouled by Quackenbush. He is surrounded by three, and they take it back out for Brunson.
It's a wild sequence right there.
Was it ever? And I don't think very much time elapsed from the shot clock. I looked up after that scramble. There are only 2 seconds gone.
Showed some great quickness, though. Mckie and Jones both beating Shandu McNeil to the ball in an all-out sprint.
Eddie Jones outside left. 14 on the shot clock as he gets it to Brunson. Now Mckie, right baseline on Vanderpool. Wraps it around, and the ball lost, stolen by Vanderpool. 3-on-2. Vanderpool to the hole, fouled before the shot.
David Vanderpool is an exceptional defensive player. And when he's not shooting the ball well, he's talented enough to be able to get to the board, make a steal, guard his man, do an awful lot of different things.
Brunson with the foul. Quackenbush to the bench. Nelson Richards in. There's the steal.
There's the steal, and then he's looking around for some help, and he said, now I'm going to take it all by myself this time.
Brunson crossed over and trying to help out Mckie, and then ended up committing the foul. Well, that's his first, and Vanderpool at the line for the second time tonight.
You know, you always have to wonder how the absence of John Chaney is going to affect this basketball team. Anytime there's a change, you know, in your routine, you're uncertain of what the results are going to be. Right now, I don't think Temple has really shown a whole lot of life out here.
No.
I mean, they haven't played with a great deal of enthusiasm. Bonnie's about hustled them on the boards, and I don't know if it's because John Chaney's not here or whatever it might be.
So the Bonnies with the lead now. Jason Ivey's pass picked off by McNeil. He was trying to hit Mckie. Nelson Richards for Moore. Moore faked the shot. Now McNeil to the left of the lane. Moore, no, it would have counted. But Moore put up the shot and was banged.
That's what Shandu McNeil does so very well. Penetrates in, dishes it off. Bonnies have had a lot of success in the last 4, 5, 6 minutes. There's the nice pass. Harry Moore's taking it up nice and strong inside. Bonnies really have had some success by getting it inside, making some things happen that way, as opposed to, again, trying to take all three-point shots.
Cunningham is back in the game, replacing Derek Mckie, who just committed the foul, his first. That's 4 team fouls on Temple. Bonnies lead by 1 with 4:50 to go, and Moore at the line has his 8th point. He has 2 deuces, 1 tray, and now 1 of 1 from the line.
Harry Moore played very well the first game between the 2 teams down in Temple, and he's certainly coming off and playing very well again tonight.
Gets them both. He has 9, and the Bonnies lead by 3. There you see the situation and the scoreboard clock. Brunson for Temple. On the left, Ivy in a traffic jam, and McNeil almost had control on the far side.
Well, Temple is uncharacteristically running into some double-team traps right there. Then he makes a pass. McNeil almost makes the steal again.
Brunson, the shot clock down at 20 seconds now. Mckie has it. Brunson behind a double screen.
Brunson has not gotten into the game at all. Here, Eddie Jones. Neither one have really done much so far. That's Brunson's first real good look at the basket.
He drew a foul earlier going against McNeil. That time he hits the field goal. And that makes it a 1-point game. Bonnie with the ball and the lead. Shandu McNeil. As we come down to 4:05 to play in the half. Nelson Richards, 17 on the shot clock yet. Now Shandu McNeil finds Vanderpool in that right corner. 10 on the shot clock. McNeil puts up a 17-footer. No, and the rebound stolen away, just plucked out of the air. George McGinnis-like by Jason Ivey.
Jason Ivey, one of the Southern guys on this Temple team. John Chaney's gone south to Alabama and Georgia for 5 of the players.
Yeah, and another one from Florida as well. Shot straight on by Eddie Jones.
Who did I just say had not been heard from? Eddie Jones and Rich Brunson. Both of them come back with big baskets. That's why this team is one of the top 10 teams in the country.
That a tray for Jones, giving him 6 points. Quackenbush going to come back in for the Bonnies. Temple up by 2. Vanderpool bluffs the 3, puts up the 2, and the rebound comes down to Eddie Jones at Temple.
When that shot goes up, though, that time Bonnie's had nobody on the offensive board.
Jones, another tray.
That's a pro NBA 3 right there.
Eddie Jones, all of a sudden, 9 points. He averages just over 20 to lead the Owls, and they lead the game, as you see, by 5 points.
It was just a quick 8-point spread. Now Bonnie's missed a couple of quickies. Temple looking to take advantage of it.
And showing a lack of patience on offense. Aaron Mckie.
Poise by Temple. Senior, experienced players, guys that have been through it before. Don't get rattled.
Jones cut off on the baseline, still keeps it to Mckie. His tray.
3 of them in a row. Bonnies can't make a 3. Temple comes down and their big guns knock down 3 of them in a row.
And that's all Mckie has hit. 3 trays. Yeah, all of a sudden, an 8-point differential. Harry Moore.
Bonnies went from 3 up to 8 down very quickly.
Nelson Richards can't score. Battle for the rebound. Taken out. 2-on-1 created to Mckie. He waits against McNeil. And that time on the fast break, he's going to get the deuce.
Jimmy Barron needs a timeout right here, I believe.
Yeah, he's down 10.
Yep.
Under 2 minutes to play. He takes the timeout with 1:55 left. Temple, what an explosion we have just witnessed, and you along with us. More in a moment from the Riley Center in Olean, New York on the Empire Sports Network. .30-20, Temple with the advantage, and you see how the scoring run has gone. Yes, 13 zip in the last 2:55 to take a 10-point lead. Check out Pac-10 basketball action when the UCLA Bruins take on the Arizona State Sun Devils. That's live tomorrow night at 10 on Empire Sports Network. You're home for great college basketball action. Let's take a look now at the tail end of this run. Now this actually right in the middle of it. Eddie Jones hitting that 3 behind the screen. Now Brunson down to Mckie in the 2-on-1, and Mckie against McNeil. Yeah, that's the mismatch.
Yep.
So 1:55 left, and St. Bonaventure to play the ball in right in front of the scorers table.
Explosion by Temple really puts Bonaventure in the corner right now. Bonnies has to go back into getting the good shots. Don't just settle for the quick 3. Take your time, run the clock some, try to get it inside, and get it to that man right there, number 00.
Quackenbush, and yeah, showing a lot more patience right now than they had the last several trips. Shandu McNeil throws up the runner, spins out on him, and a struggle and a tie-up for the rebound. They look for the alternate possession and see that it's Temple's ball.
You know, that's a nice penetrating move again by McNeil, but you're putting an awful lot of weight on a freshman's shoulders, and a small freshman at that, to come in and try to score over all these big people. Ball has to get to Harry Moore. He's going to have to do something once he gets it.
Eddie Jones matched with Harry Moore here. And they have Brunson on the right of the lane against McNeil.
Yep, look at the post-up. They're going to have to get some help here quickly, because he's just going to turn and shoot right over the top of McNeil.
Quackenbush doesn't know what to do, then reaching over Vanderpool and saved in bounds to McNeil.
Terrific defensive play again by David Vanderpool.
He's made 2 very big ones tonight, taking it out of the paint or just on the right block.
Bonnies have played very well on the defensive end. They just have to be a little more patient offensively.
Shandu McNeil, Harry Moore. Now Vanderpool puts up the tray, hit it out, Cunningham the rebound. And the Bonnies have taken tray upon tray upon tray.
Temple looking to take it down here with 38 seconds to go. 10-second call on the out of bounds.
Yep.
Wow. You know what happened is that Rich Brunson was listening to Jim Maloney.
Rather than paying attention, yeah.
Giving him some advice on what to do at the end. And he forgot what the 10-second count was into effect. So looks like Bonnies will probably get the last opportunity of the half with a 3-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
33 seconds to go now in the half. Bonnie's trailing by 10.
It's really not that dark in the gym here. No, that's
yeah. There
okay,
we go.
There we go.
Well, no rain delays tonight now.
No.
Mance outside to McNeil.
I'm sure Bonnie's will want to sit on this thing for the last one to try to get it down to 8 or 7 at the half. Oh, Shandu
with 15 seconds. Shandu, well, McNeil makes liars of us all.
Oh, to be a freshman again and take that kind of a shot. He's lucky he made it.
Brunson against McNeil with 2. Short Cunningham, and time had run out in the half. So the Bonnies did withstand that 13-0 run and got the last 3.
They got what they wanted with Shandu's 3. Temple comes up empty-handed on their last trip.
30-23 our halftime score. Stay tuned. We have a lot to come your way at the half from the Riley Center in Olean on the Empire Sports Network.
Welcome back. We are at halftime of this Cherry and White Classic rewatch, Temple and St. Bonaventure from 1994, and we are talking with a senior on that team, a man who will finish with 16 points in tonight's game, and is now the head coach of the Temple Owls, Aaron Mckie. Aaron, thanks for sticking around to talk to us.
Thanks for having me.
So I want to talk some more about this 94 team, because I think a lot of folks rightly talk about the 1993 Elite Eight team. That's etched in our memory. We've told those stories a lot. But when you look at this 1994 team, your senior year, this team is absolutely loaded. You've got 4 guys on this roster who would play in the NBA. You've got 2 first-round picks in yourself and Eddie Jones. Just tell me about the guys on this 94 roster and what your senior year was like at Temple.
You know, we returned everybody back, you know, for our senior year, the guys that were pretty much got the experience of going and playing in an Elite Eight. And we had big dreams and goals and aspirations to pretty much do the same thing and go beyond. A lot of it obviously started with, you know, Coach Chaney and all the things that he taught us, the disciplines and the toughness part of it. But, you know, a lot of people talk about myself, Eddie Jones, you know, we both were the first-round draft picks. We were the leading scorers. But what really made it all work was, you know, Rick Brunson. He brought it together. He was the point guard. He did a lot of the transporting of the ball. He set the table for us and got us in positions and helped us score the ball and helped us thrive, you know, on the offensive end. And also Derek Battie, William Cunningham, Jason Ivey, you know, all of those guys had a role and they starred in their role. Those guys' job was to dominate the interior, and they did a pretty good job of doing that and rebounding the ball and you know, taking care of those type things. And you know, we were pretty good defensively. We played zone, a matchup zone for the most part, all game long, and it was tough. A lot of teams didn't really want to see us when we came to town because we were pretty stellar on the defensive side. We didn't really give up much, and we had length. We had speed, we had athleticism. A lot of what you see now, we had big guards out on the perimeter. We were really one of the first teams to throw out a lineup of 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" with myself, Eddie Jones, and you know, Rick Brunson. So we was big out on the perimeter. And, you know, we was a good team, and we all were basketball junkies, and we enjoyed getting to the gym and working out and competing against each other. And that just made for a good team. And, you know, we all got along.
One of the things I think is interesting, and I'm sure some of your current guys are watching this game tonight and looking back on a time that they don't remember. I mean, I'm sure as you talk to current players, especially if you grew up here in the area like I did, you remember your time on the Sixers. But this is before any of your current players were born, not to make you feel old. But do you have to, you know, do you ever take the time, especially with Jason Ivey being there as well, to say, hey guys, you know, we had some pretty good college players as well. You know, that your time in college was pretty impressive on top of everything that you would go on to do in the NBA.
Yeah, those guys don't look beyond what's in front of them. It's unfortunate, and it's not just here. It's globally. It's across the board. Like, kids now really don't study the game, study the history of the game, the people that came before them, and we try to do a good job. I think we do a good job of just reminding them the caliber of players that came through Temple University. And it's not just myself, it's not just Eddie Jones, it's not just Rick Brunson, but the guys that came before us, the guys that came after us, and leading up to the guys now, because some of them will be a part of that. All of them will be a part of that Temple history, and you would hope the guys that come after them, because this game of basketball is going to be, continue to be played, and you would hope the guys that come after them would, continue to study the history and know the guys that came before them and laid the foundation for this program.
Do you get any enjoyment out of going back and watching your old games, or is that not something that interests you?
I every now and then, but I'm too busy, with a lot of other things to be sitting there watching myself. My day of playing basketball is over. I enjoyed those moments, and now I just try to study my guys and study other kids that I think can step in and help the program, watch other college games and college coaches, and try to study the game from that standpoint. I don't really like too much going back and watching old games. I'm not that kind of guy,
Well, we'll get you out of here on this, and we're going to get the folks watching tonight to the second half as well. But I would be remiss if, while we had you here, we didn't flash forward to the present day and talk about the coming 2021 season. Obviously, for a multitude of reasons, we're all looking forward to seeing this team get back out on the court. Right now, we want live sports again, obviously, first and foremost. But this is going to be a real new-look team for you guys going into this season. I know you've been busy on the recruiting trail, and I know you're somewhat limited in what you're able to do right now this summer because, obviously, as we're all working remotely right now. But I was just wondering if you can tell me about your expectations for the coming season, about some of the new guys that are going to be joining us, and what you hope it looks like when we get to see this team on the court.
Well, obviously, being very competitive and winning, because that's the goal, at least the goal for me. I think I get impatient when it comes to that. So, we wanted to continue to add more athleticism, more length. As to, what I was speaking about, the team that I played for in 94, we were long on the perimeter, we were athletic. And so I want to get back to that, where you got 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", just some guys that can cover some ground, some guys that give you, versatility. We'll be young, but, why not have young guys be able to step out there and play on a role? I just playing a starring role. My first year of playing in college basketball after sitting out, I was just thrown right in the fire, as a starter. So it can happen. We got a lot of young guys that's coming in that got a chip on their shoulder, and they want to play, they want to win, they want to compete. They add value, they add some toughness to us. And I'm looking forward to, getting those guys out on the floor and seeing them as a group and watching them go out there and compete against one another.
We're really looking forward to it as well. And again, can't thank you enough for taking some time here and making this a special rewatch and chatting with us. So thanks so much, Coach.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
All right, that is Aaron McKie. It's time now for the second half. Temple, St. Bonaventures. Let's head back out to New York.
So Bono with the ball, starting the second half, down by 7 points. Shandu McNeil hit a tray at the end of the half. Here now Vanderpool had to move in position to get the pass. Goes the hole. Cunningham trying to get active and hacks him.
Well, he was active. He went over and protected the basket. Nice drive by David Vanderpool. Shields him with the left arm. Goes to the basket. Let's take a look here. He goes hard to the hole. Going to get that call every time, though, probably.
So Vanderpool, 3 of 3 from the line so far. Make it 4 of 4.
This is something that I'm sure Jim Maloney had talked to his Owls about it at the halftime break, is that don't let Bonaventure start breathing again here.
Yeah.
Let's try to put the knockout punch in immediately so that it's not coming down to the last 3 or 4 minutes, and then they throw up a couple lucky ones and who knows what's happened.
Jones outside now again. Temple 5 of 7, 3-point range in that first half, so they have to be watched very carefully. Brunson with Shandu McNeil defending. Now Jones, Vanderpool the match in the lane. Throws it up over the shoulder. No, Cunningham got the rebound flat-footed. Not called for walking and does draw the foul.
Well, we've seen Cunningham on both ends of the floor now start to get involved a little bit. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he was reminded of that at the halftime. Here's the pass inside. Jeff Quackenbush really has to get a body on him early, though. The shot went up. Quackenbush turned and went to the defensive board as opposed to just getting a body on Cunningham.
Cunningham's first free throw is good. That's his first point of the game. 7 points again, the lead now after Vanderpool was 1 of 2 from the stripe. Cunningham was shot at making it 8, and he does. 40 seconds gone in the second half. Shandu McNeil gives it to Garland Mance. Across to Quackenbush. Back to McNeil. He's going to take another tray. He's hit 2 in a row. 1 to end the half, and this one here.
Well, if anybody's going to be shooting the threes, might as well be Shandu. He's 1 for 1 the first half. Now he's 2 for 2. Get you back in a hurry also. Make a couple of those.
However, coaches, again, don't want to see their teams become overly reliant on that part of the offense.
Garland Mances.
Eddie Jones popped out of a stack on the left to the right side. Now Brunson, 7 on the shot clock. Brunson tied up, 4 on the shot clock. Battie, no. And it was Harry Moore knocking it away and out of bounds as he went over the back of Cunningham.
I'm not so sure Derek Battie, if that's his range, taking it from the top. He's not a McKee and Jones type shooter.
No, he isn't. McKee hands off to Brunson as they pack either side of the lane. Vanderpool slipped, so Jones gets the pass. Air ball. McKee takes it away from Mance on the reverse. No. Battie is fouled by Quackenbush, coming over to meet him very quickly.
Great foul by Jeff Quackenbush right there, though. Not to give Derek Battie the easy one.
Let's watch that again. All that action underneath. Now Battie sort of gathered himself in before going up.
That's what the coach tells you, though. He said, hey, don't give him a berry. Make sure we're up on top.
The foul was the second by Quackenbush, and the free throw missed by Battie.
Temple, not a good free throw shooting team overall, only shooting at a 64% clip. So not a bad idea to foul, especially Cunningham, Battie, Jason Ivey, and so on.
The guys who aren't the prime components of that offense. Both miss, and here's Shandu McNeil.
Now, you don't want to foul Aaron McKee because he is the #1 foul shooter in the Atlantic 10.
Bonnie's down by 5. 2 minutes gone in the second half.
Temple is really not on top of their game here. They're not sharp in any way at all, and they're really giving Bonaventure a chance to get back into this.
Now that pass tipped by Brunson, taken in by McKee. Brunson.
They can do that, though. They can play defense as well as anybody in the country.
Jones had a momentary screen behind Cunningham. Here's Brunson's tray. Nope. Harry Moore was fouled as he gathered in that rebound.
Harry Moore's doing an outstanding job on both boards.
Derek Battie commits his second foul. And again, Bonnie's down by 5 as they head to the front court. Boston is called out by Shandu McNeil.
Well, we'll see what they're looking to do on it.
Tipped out by McKee.
2 turnovers in a row. Garland Mance is involved in both, and that's a disappointment, I think.
Jason Ivey replaces Derek Battie for Temple.
I think Temple is playing with fire somewhat, though, in the fact that they've had some opportunities maybe to put Bonnie's away in the first half and now maybe in the second half and haven't been able to do it. So they've got to raise the level of their game up. They're certainly capable of doing that. We saw that in the first half.
They are quite capable of doing so, but they've been in a bit of a rut recently. Losing 2 of 3.
Well, they're not a big-time scoring team. They're 8th in the league in scoring, only averaging about 64 or 5 points a game.
McKee, a 2-point try. Quackenbush gathers the rebound out in front of it.
Now they've gone cold from the 3-point line. Second half.
McNeil wanted to go in that lane. Now outside Mance. He gets the 3-pointer. Garland Mance with 5, and the Bonnies trail by 2.
Bonnies knock a couple threes down here early.
Derek Battie was going to report into the game to Jim Saddlein. We moved him down further.
I said, go right ahead, Derek. As far as I'm concerned, you can go in the game right now.
Brunson, that matchup against McNeil, but McNeil, they keep him outside. Here's Jones. Jones got a little bit of daylight on Vanderpool and score it.
Big time shot by Eddie Jones. as David Vanderpool is right in his face, and he goes up over the top. And good help by Jeff Queckenbush on the same play.
Keep in mind, Temple had to come up with a 13-0 run to take the lead in this game. They did that in the later stages of the first half.
You can see Bonaventure getting some confidence here, too. Garland Mance lucky again.
Yeah. McNeil's try. Heel the iron and pulled down by Ivy.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see Temple try to put a little more pressure on Bonaventure, too. Maybe some full court. They do that periodically, and when they feel as though they need a jump start.
Shelton waiting to come in for the Bonnies. Jones, another three.
Got lucky there.
Ivy and Mance battle for the rebound. Whose ball is it going to be? Bonnies. 15:20 to go in regulation. The substitutions come in. Battie in for Cunningham, and a timeout taken. A 4-point game. It was 7 points at the half. Temple with the lead. They're still in front. And we'll return with more second half action on the Empire Sports Network. We welcome our viewers not only on the Empire Network from the Riley Center tonight, but also those watching on Prism in Philadelphia. Pete Weber along with Jim Sadlin and Don McLean. And tonight's attendance, yes, 5,817 in this 6,000-seat building. Coming up next as we take a look at the schedules for both sides. Temple going to be taking on Louisville in Orlando on Sunday, then at Duquesne, home against UMass. That coming up 1 week from tomorrow, and then at Duke to finish out the regular season before the conference tournament at the Palestra. Meantime, St. Bonaventure heading to the road Friday night at George Washington. Rutgers coming up here, then at Duquesne, Rhode Island here, and then finishing up very quickly the home-and-home series with Rutgers before the conference tournament.
Yeah, Bonnies have some games they can win right there. Temple, John Chaney never ducks anybody. They play perennially the toughest, one of the 2 or 3 toughest schedules in the country. They still have Duke left. They have Mass. I mean, they have some Bears left.
Vanderpool back in the lane now, and Mance scores it. Nice feed from Vanderpool, and Mance now has 7.
Good call by Jim Barron after the timeout. Trying to go cross court with some passes and taking it inside. You can see Bonnie's gaining a little confidence here. And as we mentioned before, the longer they hang in the game.
McKee.
Bang.
That tray was that. Yeah, that was almost from the second row.
That's what Aaron McKee's probably saying too. Hey, the longer we let these guys hang in, just get me the ball. Here comes the trap.
McKee with 14 points now. Cross to Mance. Harry Moore in the corner. Shandu McNeil. Only 15 seconds off the shot clock. Cross to Mance. Now McNeil. McKee came out to meet him. Here's Vanderpool's three. And brought down home. The bounce came out just right for Mance to follow up with the tomahawk.
Well, Bonnies are getting an awful lot of good looks at the basket. And that time Garland Mance rams it down. Crowd into the game.
Brunson lost it going to the hole. Moore's pass stolen by Jones. 2-on-0 with Brunson. And
goodness.
Fouled on the tomahawk try himself.
I don't know about the call. I don't know about the call here. I think he got hurt just by going to the basket.
Yeah.
Harry Moore certainly didn't try to do anything on that one.
Intentional foul is the call.
That could be a huge turnaround here as Harry Moore made a nice block at the other end. If we get a chance to see it, there's the foul. Harry Moore probably should have given the ball up earlier, but Jones made a terrific steal. One of the best stealers in the league.
That was an incredible play.
Yep. And then the foul is committed by Harry Moore.
So
Mance comes in and takes that one down, the previous offensive play.
Harry Moore missed his first and hits his second.
Harry Moore, of course, is good buddies with all the Philadelphia guys, being from Philadelphia himself, and this could be an unbelievable change and turn of events right here.
So the intentional foul, Temple gets it back in.
Bonnie's had the ball, looking to go down less than 3.
Well, McKee's missed into the hands of McNeil.
Yep.
Whipped it down for Shelton, and he's fouled.
No easy ones there. Temple said, no, you're not taking it in and getting a layup there. Jimmy Barron, of course, wants the intentional. It's a change in the philosophy of the intentional fouls. We see the nice pass by Shandu. And the block.
The foul goes against Jason Ivey, his second, and sends Shelton to the line. He did not score in the first half.
But as I mentioned, there's a change in the rule on the intentional foul. It doesn't have to be what they say intentional. It just can be a hard foul.
Yes.
A hard foul can be considered an intentional foul. I'm sure that's what they called on Harry Moore.
That puts even more on the shoulders of the officials. Shelton gets them both and makes it a 3-point game again.
Bonnies are really playing very, very well here. Temple seems to be playing well enough just to keep ahead of the game. That's a dangerous situation to be in.
Especially on the road.
Yep. I don't think Shandu McNeil is playing against Aaron McKee over here. I don't think that they want that matchup. The Bonnies don't.
And he posts against him and gives it to Petit. And Petit shot, offensive foul. Derek Petit.
Nice play by Sidney Shelton as he draws the charge.
Petit has 3 personal fouls with 13:20 to play.
That's what Jim Maloney is saying here. We see it again as he just put his shoulder down and charged through. Jim Maloney said, just take the jump shot over the top. You don't need to get the extra step.
McKee popped out that middle for a moment just to threaten Shandu McNeil.
Shandu McNeil is playing absolutely beautiful basketball here this evening. Doesn't look like a freshman out there. Physically he does.
Yeah.
But he certainly doesn't the other way.
Simply stolen away by Jones out of the hands of Vanderpool, trying to go down on the right block.
Eddie Jones, time for him to go to work. Bang.
A leaner off balance and hits a shot like that. He has 14.
Eddie Jones is second in the league in steals. Brunson first, McKee fourth. Not bad.
Garland Mance in the lane, puts up the runner. No, McKee the rebound. A tangle up in the backcourt. Now to Jones. Slipped a little, heads inside and lays it up and over. Made it look easy, and it was not, believe me.
Eddie Jones is Mr. Smooth.
Quackenbush going to come back in for the Bonnies. 16 points for Eddie Jones.
Every time the Bonnies try to up the tempo somewhat and take a quick shot, they've gotten in trouble.
Barrymore, Vanderpool. There's McNeil. McKee all over him. Remember, McKee is not just good offensively, but he's put pressure on defensively as well. Here's more for the tray. Air ball, McKee has it.
We talk about Temple selectively running. Here's another opportunity right here.
Brunson goes in, draws the foul on Vanderpool, and stops the clock with 8:16 gone in the half.
You know, you just get the feeling that Temple can turn it on and off whenever they want to. I mean, that's the mark of a great basketball team. It's not what coaches like to see, but that's the mark of a great basketball team. And when they feel threatened, they just raise it up a notch, and then you see what happened. They go into another roll here.
When Quackenbush came in, Harry Moore started at the sideline instead. Quackenbush in for Shelton.
See Jimmy Maloney, and here's Temple's famous trick of letting Rick Brunson shoot by himself down there and taking everybody else down to the other end. But Jimmy Maloney's no stranger to the Riley Center. He came down and brought his Niagara teams 3 or 4 years down here, and of course has been here many, many years as John Chaney's assistant.
So it's a 9-point lead now for Temple. It was 7 at the half, and a timeout for us and for you on the Empire Sports Network. Temple has outscored St. Bonaventure 15-13 in the second half and 11-4 for the last 3 minutes and 16 seconds. That's how they've gotten a 9-point lead at the Riley Center. We invite you to stay tuned for more college basketball as the Missouri Tigers take on the Iowa State Cyclones. That's tonight at 10, right here on Empire Sports Network.
We'll have women's
You know, when we look at Jim Barron trying to tell his team what to look for offensively, you know coming in that you're not going to get a bundle of points against this Temple team. Their defense is too solid, get too much experience. You have to almost make every possession count. They did a great job with that in the first half, only having 4 turnovers. They've slid a little bit here in the second half. You can't make mistakes against a team of this caliber.
And again, as you were talking your pregame comments, the Bonnies can't count on being able to hit those outside shots.
Well, they can probably count on not hitting those outside shots based on statistics.
Shandu McNeil outside for the Bonnies to Harry Moore. Mance wheels it to Quackenbush to Vanderpool in turn. Mance found an alley for that pass to Moore, and nothing was called on that.
Those are the kind you have to convert, though. Nice movement by Bonnies. Harry Moore gets not an easy one, but he gets one inside. They can't get it to go down.
Eddie Jones to McKee. Brunson, as we come down to 11 minutes remaining.
This is danger time for Bonnies right here, too, and that Temple really looking to put the knockout blow in.
Petit turns and scores.
That's exactly what Jim Maloney was saying before. Derek Petit, there's no reason for you to put your head down, lower your shoulder, and go through people. Turn, shoot the ball over the top, you've got a good touch.
An 11-point lead for Temple. Quackenbush sees Mance. Vanderpool, well, McNeil's going to take another tray, and he hits it.
Tell you what, Shandu McNeil has really kept this team alive, especially in the second half.
He has 11 points tonight. Brunson not being called rather for carrying.
Jim Barron wanted a foul on the push-off. Sweet.
Jones
Eddie
underneath.
Jones.
He has 18. Ryan Glidden waiting to come in for the Bonnies.
Ryan Glidden, a 3-point shooter out of Indiana. I'm sure that's what Jim Barron is thinking right now. It's a tough spot, though, to put a freshman into.
Especially when he didn't play in the first half. Vanderpool can't score in the drive. So 2 good shots the Bonnies have not been able to convert on consecutive trips down.
As we mentioned, those are the opportunities you can't lose against this type of a team.
Bonnies almost with the steal. McKee recovers. Hit on Vanderpool. How smooth is that? Doesn't score on it, and it comes back to Ivy off his toes and out of bounds. Glidden comes in for the Bonnies with 9:29 to play. He will replace Garland Mance, and Shelton comes in for Quackenbush. Ryan Glidden. There you see Mance taking his seat on the bench.
Jim Barron searching for some answers here. They've had a couple good trips down the court. They just haven't been able to convert it.
Shandu McNeil. Here's Harry Moore. Now Glidden just in the game. Vanderpool tries the tray. In and out. Glidden gets the rebound of the 3-point miss and takes it back out there. Vanderpool drives to the hole and lays it in.
That's where David Vanderpool is so impressive, taking it to the goal instead of taking the outside shot. Got great size for a wing player or for a guard, and he knows how to play around the basket. Tough match right here for Ryan Glidden as McKee's just going to try to take him to school early. Good thing about McKee and Jones and Brunson, too, is that they're really able to get their own shots off.
Like that one by Brunson.
Yep.
The 3-pointer giving him 9 and putting Temple up 11.
They can create their own shots at any time.
Moore's tray. Bat on the boards and taken down by McKee. They wanted a walk call here at the Riley Center on that. Now Jones 3-point try. Whoa, what a brick that was. Woo! Shelton the rebound.
That's what Mark Mckie used to do once in a while. He'd come in and make 2 or 3 threes, then he'd throw an air ball.
Yeah, they better check the backboard, make sure it's okay.
Guess what? Eddie Jones won't be gun shy the next time.
Oh, no. No, they'll go ahead and take it.
He's going to let it rip. Such a great player, and great players always do that.
Harry Moore, a 2-pointer. His first points of the second half. So Harry Moore went over 12 minutes without scoring in the second half. And a big part of Temple's success and putting the pedal to the metal here.
Well, 7+ remaining here. Bonnie's still within striking distance, only down 9.
McKee in on Glenn. Ball kicked outside to Jones. Jones, those eel-like moves to the right side. He has 20.
He is a sweet player. Certainly going to be in the running for Player of the Year in the Atlantic 10. He and Lou Rowe out of Massachusetts, and Harry Moore.
Aaron McKee.
Aaron McKee, definitely. Derek Alston from Duquesne. That's probably going to look like your all-league team.
Glenn's bounce pass. Beautiful anticipation by Jones, but saved again by McNeil. Another tray. Well, he can miss. And Batiste can't handle it. Still a battle. Ball free, taken by Vanderpool.
Boy, Bonaventure's really played hard tonight. You have to question your shot selection sometimes, but they've played extremely hard and got to every loose ball.
Vanderpool called for fouling McKee. That's Vanderpool's third. And we have a timeout with 6:40 to go in the half. Temple leading St. Bonaventure by 11. We'll return in just a moment on the Empire Sports Network. Jim Maloney in that Temple huddle again. Coach John Chaney serving his one-game suspension. And yes, the stats do tell. They do tell that Temple has been shooting a lot better than St. Bonaventure has here tonight. Don't miss your chance to talk college basketball and round ball wrap. Jim Saddlin will be in the studio with Bob Kaczynski taking your calls. Thursday nights at 7 only on Empire Sports Network. Do not miss it. Jack Armstrong of Niagara will be the guest tomorrow night. And he had a 10-point lead on Canisius last report we had in the first half. There's the winner of the Bob Lanier look-alike contest at the Riley Center tonight.
I think the crowd is fooled. I think they believe it's actually the big dauber, Bob Lanier there, and it really isn't. So
he's been signing a lot of autographs, though, and lowering the value of some trading cards, I'm certain.
He's a big man, though. I don't know who it is, but he is a big man.
They'll know when they check out his feet.
Yep.
Temple up by 11.
6.5 left. Big time for Bonnies right now to try to see if they can hang in this one.
McKee.
McKee and Moore, two teammates.
Yeah. In and out. Battle for the rebound. And it's going to go over to St. Bonaventure. Nelson Richards in for the Bonnies. Ryan Glenn will head to the side.
These Temple Owls go play against Louisville down in Florida Saturday. So they go to a tough one with Clifford Rozier, who's one of the top players in the country.
Well, it's better than playing at Freedom Hall. They'll be in Orlando.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think so.
Jeff Quackenbush in the game, too, for Shelton. So Shandu McNeil.
Nelson Richards for the first time after going an 0 in the first half, 0 for 5, with a lot of good looks. Maybe it's time for him to knock a few down.
Cross for Quackenbush. Mance. Nope. Harry Moore fading back. Now it's short. Battle for it again. Nelson Richards stepped on the sideline when trying to save it.
Good effort by Nelson Richards. Harry Moore really all over the offensive board. Doing a terrific job. It's just that every time he gets the ball, there's 2 or 3 people on him, as we see right there. Nelson tries to run it down. Almost gets there.
Goes just a little long.
Yep.
And the turnover. Back to the live action to the Bonnies.
Derek Batiste gets caught moving screen on the inside.
That's his 4th foul, so Cunningham will come in and take his slot.
Derek Batiste has been very effective in the second half. Big, strong guy. Only a sophomore.
Yeah, 6'9", 222 pounds, heading to the side.
Not happy with that call, though.
Bonnies get Vanderpool back in. He takes over for Nelson Richards on the floor.
I wonder if John Chaney's watching the game tonight. It was picked up, I think, in Philadelphia by Sports Channel.
Indeed it was. Oh, brick by Quackenbush. And battle for the rebound, and on the jump, alternate possession goes to Temple.
It's probably the first time that John Chaney has actually watched one of his teams perform in person without him being on the bench.
So he's not watching videotape.
No, he's probably watching the game.
And again, welcome to all viewers in the Philadelphia area tonight.
Regular Empire Sports crew here, Western New York. Pete Weber along with Jim Saddlein and Don McLean. Temple led by 7 at the half. 11 now before the shot launched by Brunson, but before he got the shot off, the foul is called. Harry Moore will take his second foul.
Bonnie's not in the 1-on-1 yet. Neither team is, Temple or Bonnie, so take it out at the side court.
5:08 to go. This is McKee and on Vanderpool. He broke away. And again from the stack left, Brunson pops out.
Temple really does play here. Bonnie's looking to trap hard on a double team out front, but they don't want to let this man free, I don't believe.
McKee wrapped back for Cunningham. Had a chance to set. And then McKee lost the rebound. Here comes Vanderpool on the side, and McKee is hurt. Struggling a little bit down the other end. Quackenbush decides to go up with 2 rather than 1 hand.
Probably a good choice. David Vanderpool with the steal, the hard dribble down, and the dish off.
So now, Temple's lead to 9 points.
9 with 4 to go.
And McKee back in the flow.
Rick Brunson really wanted the ball down low against Shandu McNeil.
Now he has it out high against McNeil. Moore comes over to help out from behind. To Jones, not a bad choice when you turn around and your paths were cut off. Jones puts up the tray and he hits it.
You know, Bonnie's did everything right except they left the best player on the court, Eddie Jones, who drills the 3. He is some player.
Vanderpool fakes the 3, goes in. Now that went through Quackenbush to Mance. Quackenbush tried the offensive board. Vanderpool did too. Vanderpool's shot is tipped by Cunningham, and he draws a foul.
David Vanderpool not leaving anything here tonight. He is giving it all. This is a big-time game for David Vanderpool. Doesn't have a lot of great numbers scoring-wise, but I'm telling you what, he's going on the board strong once. It's up another time.
And now again.
He's got some big horses in there with Cunningham and Ivy and those guys, so.
It's a second on Cunningham.
Yep.
Vanderpool. A little long. He had 3 foul shots in the first half. 1 of 3 in the second half from the line.
Somebody's in there early. I think Jason Ivey went in way early and got away with it.
Well, I guess you could say that's some evidence maybe of Vanderpool being a little bit tired.
Yep, they might be fatigued somewhat here. They've really played very hard.
Cunningham all alone.
That might be the so-called exclamation point. Up 14 with 3.5 to go. These aren't the type of games that Temple blows.
No. You don't expect a mini version of last night's replay from Baton Rouge.
No, only because Bonnie's is not a real good 3-point shooting team either.
Which is what Kentucky was able to butter its bread with last night. Up to Brunson. Brunson with 11. And now a 16-point lead. Timeout taken by the Bonnies. They're going to have to hit trays, make every possession count, and continuously stop Temple. We'll take the timeout too. It's a 16-point Temple lead. 45 left on the Empire Sports Network. There have been 2 big runs in this game by Temple. One late in the first half, then here early in the second half, and now Cunningham all alone underneath slams it home for his first field goal of the night to put Temple up by 16. Check out Pac-10 basketball action as the UCLA Bruins take on the Arizona State Sun Devils live tomorrow night at 10 on Empire Sports Network. Your home for great college basketball action. See how my buddy Jim Herrick does with that one.
Jim Herrick, originally out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Met him on the that horrible campus of Malibu there at Pepperdine University. Ugly place that some kids have to go there.
That almost slid into the ocean.
Yeah, McNeil, or rather Harry Moore misses that shot.
First good look in a while for Harry Moore, but this game is just a matter now of what the final score was going to be. And I'm sure Bonaventure's looking at it and saying, hey, we've played pretty well all night long here. Let's not lose by 20.
Right. Keep playing hard, as they have been doing. Cunningham can't handle that one. 2:16 left. Shandu McNeil is at a big night.
Yep, he's played very, very well. Harry Moore's played well. Vanderpool's played pretty well.
He hits the tray. Vanderpool with 11 points.
Bonnie's called quick timeout to stop the clock.
They get the timeout now, trailing by 13. As you see, 2:02 to play. Derek Petit with 4 fouls and 2:02 left will report back in the game for Temple.
You know, this is the type of situation, too, for Jim Barron, where he can use this kind of a game as a somewhat of a launching pad and have him realize that Temple is one of the top programs and has been one of the top programs in the country for a long, long time. Bonaventure's kind of a wannabe right now. We'd love to be in that kind of a position eventually. Takes a lot of hard work, a lot of great players, and a lot of discipline and effort to get to that level. There's the three, one of the infrequent threes that have gone down for Bonnie's tonight. And good effort.
Temple, led by Jim Maloney tonight in the absence of John Chaney. 4 losses this year. Their home-and-home series, both ends lost against West Virginia. They also lost at UMass on Sunday and out of the league. Lost to Georgia Tech at Madison Square Garden. Season low for the Bonnies.
So far,
that?
Well, they had 52 the last time they played against Temple. They have 48 now. Temple will make you do that, though.
Yeah.
We talked all night long about McKee and Brunson and Eddie Jones and how smooth and sweet they are on the offensive end, but they're terrific defensive players too. And you know, they've always had a great defensive program here, and they make you shoot poorly a lot of times. It's not just Bonnie shooting with nobody in their face.
However, the Bonnies probably had more good shots produced tonight than they probably would have expected.
Yeah, you're probably right. Good foul.
At Quackenbush outside, matched with Ivy. Then Quackenbush picks up his 3rd.
Well, we're going to see some fouls, I would think, at the end now. Certainly by the Bonnies, and to try to hang in here.
Jason Ivy at the line. He had a field goal in the first half. Out of Gadsden, Alabama.
And he misses.
Go. So he missed the front end of the 1-and-1.
Ivy's only a 41% free throw shooter, very poor, so I'm sure Jimmy.
Vanderpool's tray goes.
10-point, minute 38 to go. You can be sure that Jason Ivy won't touch it now unless it's in a desperate situation.
There you go.
Absolutely got to foul him. They're still not in the 2-shot foul. Ivy, as we mentioned before, shooting 23 out of 57 now from the free throw line, well under 40%. They're going to hack him every time he touches the ball.
3 fouls on Harry Moore. There again, the play along the side. If Moore hadn't fouled him, Garland Mance would have.
Absolutely. This is one of the ones where you're not afraid to foul him and let him shoot 2. Misses again. Crazy as it might seem, if Bonnie's ever throw a 3 down here, this game is not over yet.
McNeil in the lane, and it goes. Shandu McNeil with 13, 3-point of a single game high.
The ball will not leave Brunson, Jones, or McKee's hands at this point. They're going to have to foul somebody, though. I don't think that they can choose at this point. They've got to foul anybody that they get a chance at.
59 seconds to go. The pass and batted away before Ivy could get possession on the left side. 55 seconds left.
Jim Maloney said this game isn't over yet. We're going to have to sit down and talk about it first.
Let's get things organized if we possibly can. So 55 seconds left and an 8-point lead now. There you have the Bonnies scoring run. 8 points in the last 100 seconds to pull within 8.
You know, it's not over yet. There's no question of that. But even if this comes up short, you know, Bonnies can look at this and say, you know, if we lose by 7 or 8 or 6 or 5 or something, that's a terrific effort. And they really have played very well all game. I don't think Temple has been on top of their game, Bonnie's might have something to do with that, but I think the circumstances surrounded also might have something to do with it.
Sure.
The absence of John Chaney. But you know what? I keep saying this one is not over yet. I mean, you're talking 8 with 55 seconds. If they come in, start making, they're still not taking 2 free throws. They're only still in the 1-on-1 one more time. They miss another one. Bonnie's ever come down and make a 3. Stranger things have happened. We saw that last night.
Oh, did we ever? An incredible, the NCAA record-breaking comeback. LSU had a 31-point lead on Rick Pitino's Kentucky Wildcats at home in Baton Rouge.
You know what, when watching that game, I kept thinking all the way through that this is something that the late Jimmy Valvano always talked about. Don't ever quit, don't ever quit, don't ever quit. Pitino makes sure his players don't quit. Strange things happen when you play hard. Bonnies are playing hard right now.
And Pitino was one of the first guys who ever decided to make full use in college basketball, then in the pros as well, of the three-pointers. David Vanderpool with 12 points. Actually, I have him with 14 right now, according to my book. Well, in any case,
Harry Moore has led the Bonnies in scoring the last 15 consecutive games. He only has 11 right now. But I'll tell you what, Harry Moore would gladly surrender that record if they could ever somehow pull a miracle here in Riley Center.
Absolutely. He had 9 points in the first half, including a three-pointer for his first chance. You see the score lower right.
We mentioned before that Mckie is an 83% foul shooter. Eddie Jones, 64%. Derek Petit, 56, and Richie Brunson, 64. So you got to foul anybody. Foul Brunson or Eddie Jones or anybody right now.
No, they're not fouling.
No, you don't want to foul him. That's the guy you don't want to foul. They had a chance to foul Brunson. They had a chance to foul Eddie Jones. I would rather take my chances with them than with Mckie. But Mckie hasn't been up to the line for a while either. So at this point, you can't be particular.
No. Hey, Nelson Richards, the other 23 in the home uniform, called for the foul. Aaron Mckie had 11 points in the first half. He's hit a tray in the second. And gets the free throw here. Eddie Jones with a big night for the Owls, 23 points. With 46 seconds to go, Mckie can put his team in front by 10 with this free throw. And he does.
Shooters roll. That's what happens when you got good shooters. They get those kind of things.
McNeil. Mance puts up the tray. He scores.
You know, Bonnie's three-point shooting percentage isn't going to look quite as bad because they've made some here at the end. There's a man to foul, though.
And they do. Harry Moore commits his fourth. 34 seconds left.
Still not out of the woods.
Petit already is nothing of 2 from the line.
As we mentioned, he's a 56% free throw shooter. He's going to get 2 cracks this time, though. That takes a little of the pressure off.
Petit lines up that first one short. Jason Ivey missed the front ends of 2 1-and-1s. Now Petit hits that one with 34 seconds left. That gives him 7 points. It gives Temple an 8-point advantage with 34 remaining and the timeout taken. Well, a number of the fans, 5,817 here tonight, have left at least the upper level of the Riley Center. 2 home games left for St. Bonaventure. They will have Rutgers and Rhode Island coming into town. And they play at George Washington this Friday, later down to Pittsburgh to take on Duquesne, and then play at Rutgers as well. As you take a look at the schedule, the Atlantic 10 Conference Tournament the week of March 5th through the 7th.
You know, Bonaventure has already beaten George Washington. Now, they're very difficult to play down in D.C., but Rutgers they certainly have a shot with. They were close with Duquesne. Rhode Island and Rutgers again. They have a legitimate chance. Remember last year, they didn't win 1 league game.
Right.
0-17. Here they're 3-7, probably looking at 3-8 right now, but certainly they've been competitive in almost every one of their games. And Jim Barron has really done a nice job with this basketball team. And you know, you'd like to have Harry Moore back a couple more years, of course, That would make things a little bit easier. But recruiting has got to be at the top of his list right now. He needs to go out and get some real good players to complement some of the people coming back.
I thought I saw some guys in high school play 6 straight years for the same school.
Did you?
Yeah, so, you know, that sort of thing can happen. You never know.
Yeah. In fact,
but 3 conference wins this year. And again, the one that really shook everybody up was the George Washington game here at the Riley Center.
Yep, and then come back and beat West Virginia. So West Virginia, of course, beat this Temple team twice.
34 seconds left. Shandu McNeil the pickup. To the hole, rejected by Batee and brought down by Ivy. Brunson to the backcourt. 25 seconds to go. McNeil tried to foul him. Now does.
Well, Shandu took it right to the basket, but Derek Batee makes a big-time block to stop the goal.
22 seconds left. Brunson 4 of 4 from the line tonight.
Here's the block as we see Shandu try to create something, and he's a very, very good player also. Mark Macon was one of the only, there's a rare miss for Rick Brunson, but Mark Macon was one of the only players that really was allowed under John Chaney's system to come in and be the man very early in his career. I can see Derek Batee down the road some, really being the type of player that's going to have a major role in this program offensively as well as defensively.
Airball try. Carlin Mance with the miss.
Probably no reason to foul right now. Keep it down. Bonnies have done a terrific job.
6 seconds, you see the time.
Temple's done what they've had to do. Come out of Olean with a win. All accounts.
And a 9-point differential of this one. 65-56. Temple with the victory here tonight. So the Bonnies now have lost their last 2, 4 of their last 5, and 6 of their last 7 for Temple. They had lost 2 of their previous 3, including their last start Sunday at UMass. Their record now 18-4, 11-3 in conference play. The Bonnies go to 9-12 and 3-8 in the Atlantic.